I'm going to show you how to take your high quality photo of your sculpture and do a nice paint over to bring it to life.
You know, that was you had a bit of a squeak there.
Something in my throat.
Want to spit in your mouth?
No, I don't.
I can lube it up for you.
No, I'm okay. Thank you. I'm okay. Let's get into it. How do you go about painting over your sculpture, clay sculpture, in Procreate? This is a sculpt I did a while ago out of clay, and I took some high quality photos, and I'm using Procreate. Now this I had to dabble with a little bit because there wasn't really any tutorials out there that shows you how to go about doing this. So I kind of had to watch drawing tutorials and see what they do, and then kind of just figure it out and fiddle around with it. But so what you do, sculpt your sculpture, take some nice pictures of it, and pick your favorite one. This one is probably my favorite Fallout inspired character that I did a while ago. So let's go through the layers, and then I'll show you a time lapse of how it turned out. First layer, we got a couple layers. So first layer is your picture, and then you're gonna have, for me, I had two painting layers. One was yellow. Let's turn that on. As you can see, it kind of brings a nice little, color to it. And the setting for this one is an overlay setting with about 50% opacity, because I didn't want too much yellow, because this guy is, he's in the wasteland. He's filled with radiation, maybe kind of sickly, and that's kind of the vibe I was going for. So overlay, and honestly, I just kind of painted over him with the yellow, kind of like a silhouette, as you can see there. And then over top of that, we have another painting layer, a bit of like an orange color going for it as well. I did the same thing, painting over it. I think this is also overlay. Yeah, overlay about 42% or 50. You can just play around with it and see what looks good to you. Just play around with like the opacity. But I wanted this to be about, I don't know, right around there. What I wanted to try and do is go for like a painterly vibe to this. Almost looks like it got like painted over. But when I was doing it, it didn't look too good because honestly, I'm not a drawer or a painter. I'm a sculptor, right? So I'm not very good at either of those. But this process, I did find it worked well for me. Anyways, so we got those layers. This next layer, it's just kind of like adding a bit of color into those areas, as you can see, where like the blood flow would be on this dude. Kind of like added, what was that color? Kind of like a red color. And this is on multiply, right? Multiply. Bit of a red, trying to bring in some like, blush in the cheeks or some redness in the area, especially down in here. And then the next layer, I wanted to add more green into it. It's very subtle. Can't really see it too much, but this is an overlay as well. Again, play around with the settings and just see what works good for you, right? I have these two main paint layers here, as you can see. Paint layer 2, which is set to normal. All right, I wanted to, again, try and give this a painterly look, and then this is how it turned out, as you can see. Big difference. I left the brush strokes originally, but then I went back into it with I think this is like the smudge, or yeah, I think it's smudge. I'm pretty new to Procreate, so whatever this button is, smudge, went in there and just kind of got rid of those brush strokes and blended it in a little bit better with the colors underneath. But you still get that red and the yellow and all the other colors below it popping through, because I did not cake it, right? What I mean by cake it, it's like I didn't just go in there and just paint it, right? I kind of just like brush stroked it. I'm trying to keep some of the colors below so that it can pop through the green when I was adding it. And then on that same layer, I did like the teeth and then the eyes. Very proud of the eyes. The eyes turned out pretty good, which I was very happy with, especially this one, this big old wonky eye. And that blending actually helped with the colors from these previous layers to pop through. And then I added another paint layer just to add a little bit more like red. maybe he's, you know, he's been in the wasteland a while. He's a little bit sunburnt. That's kind of the thing I was going for. And he's kind of radiated, you know, there's radiation in the fields. That's why he has this like green yellow look to him. And then I added the gum color on this layer as well. It's just how it happened. And then you can see here his little eye patch thing for his bad eye, and then down here as well, his little straps. I left that kind of like painted look to it. I just thought it was cool. And this was a overlay, I believe. Yeah, overlay as well. I totally forgot that he had like a crutch here that holds up his head because his head's so heavy and he can't hold it up himself. So he made this makeshift crutch to hold his head up. And so I put that on a separate layer as well. Overlay. So we'll turn that on. And then you can see, you know, brought a little bit more color into it as well instead of just it being gray. We'll move on up. I think this was more like a light, kind of like a lighting. And this is set to divide. Right, so you see on this side here, it's just on this side, you can see how there's just like a bit of light. It just kind of pops. And just makes everything a little bit brighter on this side because that sun's kind of coming down from this way. Next, I went in with another layer for lighting, and this is set to soft light. And you'll see a big difference here as everything kind of just pops. Boosh. Like that. See that? And there's your light. So this was set to soft light. And then we went to the shadows. And this is set to multiply. So we'll turn that on. And you can kind of see how those shadows... Here, let me move this over a bit. Really make everything kind of pop even more. Look at that. Oh, beautiful. Right? And then the highlights, this is set to screen. Turn on the highlights. It's just a bit. It's like very subtle. Mostly like down here. Up and around. I have another layer here for detail paint, which I think is set to normal. And this is just kind of like, like up in the eye. I wanted the eye here to have this kind of like green seeping out. Maybe it's like radiation or his blood's kind of radiated. So that's what I did there. And then texture. You can see I took a texture brush and I kind of gave him some like sun damage from the high radiation in the sun, right? So this is set to hard light, 50%. You know, you can play with it. I kind of like it at 50. It's not too aggressive, but that's just like the texture. And honestly, when I did this part, it really brought it all together. I wanted to add some text to this because I made him a print that you can get. Check my website. So his name is Big Head. I had another layer here just for like a drop shadow to kind of make that pop out a little bit more. That is the process of how I did it. And as someone who does like a lot of concept sculpting myself, so I use a lot of just monster clay. So my sculpts will just, you know, I don't add color to them. I don't paint them unless I'm using polymer clay. When I do make something out of monster clay, like this guy was, just a gray color like this, it's really cool to be able to paint him over and then just see what he would look like with color. Now I also did 3D print this guy. 3D printed this guy, as you can see. So painting over him is a cool way to give you kind of like a concept of what color you might want to paint, you know, your 3D print that maybe you printed, you know, you scanned your sculpt and 3D printed it, or maybe you did do it in polymer clay and you want to paint your sculpture, but you're not sure, you know, what colors you want to use. This is a great way to kind of come up with ideas. If you have any ideas or any feedback you want to give me, I'm all ears. If you have any questions about anything, definitely let me know. Leave a comment down below. And if this video helped you, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. And if you're interested in the sprint, check out my website, metalswhorehouse.com. I'll have a link down below that you can check. Now let me show you the time lapse and you'll see how I went about it.